Welcome back to the show. This is Ola from Men of Prestige, and we're happy to be back with you today. Awesome. Welcome back. Let me take a shy and see. All right, good. Welcome everybody to Sharp Edge News TV. We're gonna have a good time today as we cover some of the hottest, trendy news in the political space this week, and I hope you guys are having a fantastic week. Do me a favor, as you're coming in, you're watching this as a live or replay later on, either way, it doesn't matter. We appreciate you. Do me a favor, hit that like button, share, subscribe, and follow the show. We're looking to get to 1,000 followers. We're taking our time, we're hanging out, we're covering some of these stories, all right? But this is where you can trust to come to for concise news report on some of the trendiest stories over the week. All right. So I appreciate you for being here, and I want to take this moment to welcome my only uncle. Everybody should just rest. He's my uncle. It is what it is. I know he's your chief and all, but he's my uncle. Okay. All right. So it is what it is. But without any further ado, Hi Chief Oladimeji Abitogun, the editor-in-chief of SharpEdgeNewsTV.com. Welcome, Hi Chief.
Thank you for bringing me back, or for having me back, whichever. To thousands of our viewers out there, I want to especially thank you for being so gracious and for being so kind to find time to hang out with us since we started, and you're going to be with us for a long time to come. Let me thank you for showing so much concern as to hit that like button, to subscribe to our YouTube channel and Facebook channel, and then making sure you press that notification button and then you share us to thousands of your own loved ones out there. This is the place to be when it comes to family kind of language, something that puts you at ease. Thank you again. It's good to be back.
Awesome, great. Are you trying to already police the way I talk indirectly? What's going on here?
No, not really.
Because I do have some colorful languages every now and then. I'll try not to.
It's all right.
All right. So we're just talking before the show, and I said, we're going to continue to improve on the platform to continue to make it, bring the most value to the audience. We want to make sure that we cover some of the the hottest stories on your mind that you want to share with the people, and you're going to have some specials that you want to cover shortly before we get into the rest of the stories for the day. So what has been hot in the past few days that you want to share with the audience?
Oh yes, thank you very much. This is a particular Sharp Edge News quintessential special, the kind of thing we go for. Let us first talk about what is going on with the Nigerian Correctional Service right now, particularly the displacement of some of the personnel of the service, NCS, at a settlement in Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory, the settlement known as Nualege. Since the new Minister of Federal Capital Territory, Mr. Yeson Wike, the former governor of Rivers State, ever controversial, since he assumed office in Abuja, to demonstrate what some Nigerians will call a quote and unquote initial gragra, the braggadocio that, this is what I must do in order to let the citizens feel that I am doing something and up and doing. So, people occupying Nualege satellite town somewhere around Airport Road in Lube Federal Capital Territory, that is Abuja. They were displaced because the demolition squad, with their bulldozer and what have you, all kinds of stuff, they moved in and they mauled down that village, that settlement. And that settlement is somewhere close to the premises of Nigeria Air Force and Nigeria Correctional Service along Airport Road there. Several people were displaced, but characteristically, you would give it to the military. You will give it to the military environment in Nigeria, the military structure in Nigeria. They take care of business most times, unlike the ancillary security organizations. In this case, I am calling out the Minister of Interior, Mr. Olubunmi Ojo, and then the Controller General of Nigerian Correctional Service, Mr. Ali Runaba, otherwise known as Mr. Noted, because I do not know the academic inefficiency that dogs Mr. Nahaba. Whatever you mean it to him, whatever memo you send to him, even when you ask him to talk at a public forum, all he would say is noted. It is that monosyllabic answer. It doesn't go beyond that. It does not engage, and you would look at that as part of what has characterized the public service in Nigeria. I do not want to question his academic qualifications, but again, I'm tempted to question that. But this is what has happened to the men and women of Nigerian Correctional Service. As the bulldozers moved in to please the bravado of Yesun Wike, a lot of people were displaced. And do not forget that these people, in the first place, spent money. They staked their hard-earned money to buy the lands on which they built these structures that the government has now characterized as now described and acquired back as illegitimate and unlawfully gained. So these people are displaced, and you won't believe it. They have moved to the Mami market around the precinct of the Nigerian Correctional Service and the Air Force. Immediately this happened, the Nigerian Air Force Service absorbed their own men and women into the barracks, settled them peacefully. But in the case of Nigerian Correctional Service, what do? The same attitude of, that borders on ineptitude, all this while, is what the Nigerian Correctional Service has displayed. Hardworking people within that service, they now had to engage the use of corrugated zinc, iron sheets, to build what you would call bacha in the local parlance, that is chanks. And with the inclement weather, if you have been around the inclement Harmattan season in Nigeria, you will know how harsh that wind can be in the night, how cold it could be. It's almost like, with the savanna vegetation around the area, it's almost like you are stranded in the desert in the middle of the night. Regardless of the fact that the desert could be very hot, daytime, at night, you're dealing with a sub-0 degree cold. That is what these people are exposed to with their children and family. And the shame of it all is that there are facilities, barracks built for Nigerian Correctional Service. But guess what? Because of that culture that dogs everything in Nigeria, big men, women who have retired from from public service, who are no longer engaged in the services of Nigerian Correctional Service, they hold on to the accommodations that were given to their bosses in the past, while Nigerian hard-working servicemen and women with the Nigerian Correctional Service continue now to languish in the open, exposed to the harsh weather conditions they have to contend with. And Mr. Noted, Ali Runaba, is not doing anything, and everybody is giving Olubunmi Ojo a pass mark, as if the length and breadth of the Interior Ministry is just Immigration Service. Even the Immigration Service, for which is being praised to high heavens, is not really getting it right. Look at what Nigerians have to contend with now in order to acquire their passports. Initial gra meant that Olubunmi Ojo was able to engage the men and women of immigration service to clear the backlog of Nigerian international passports that should be issued to Nigerian citizens as a matter of right. But in this case, he has done that while leaving other things unattended. Since into office, he has not even questioned the modus operandi or whatever has been the rule of engagement with the several under supervision. And this case at NCS, the Nigerian Correctional Service, is a real test for what Olubunmi Ojo is capable of doing. Ali Runaba is with his people. They make all kinds of deductions on the staff of Nigerian Correctional Service in the name of welfare. Some of these things are supposed to go into their retirement in the future, the welfare in case of accident and what have you. But with this kind of situation at hand, men and women stranded in the cold, in the open sea of the elements, in part of the deductions to take care of this. And the Nigerian Correctional Service built an hotel facility. You mean Nigerian citizens should go on Airport Road? They would see the beautiful hotel facility built by Nigerian Correctional Service. The money for taking care of them, the workers there. But with this kind of profits coming from that kind of valuable investment would create some succor, some comfort to these displaced men and women. That is not happening. So where does the money, the profit made from that kind of a fiscal hotel facility, where does it go? Who does this service? Is there some element of shadiness, some opaqueness, non-transparency going on in that service? There are questions. And this is the Sharp Edge News special we bring this week. There are other things that we will be examining, including the mindless prison breaks that has occurred under the watch of Ali Runaba. And allegedly, we got reports that he had thought another person was going to be appointed as Interior Minister to give such an individual a so-called incoming minister then that was later changed. There was a swap and the man was never brought. Ali Runaba was allegedly involved in packaging that ministerial nominee that was supposed to come to Interior Ministry. He was allegedly involved in giving him certain amount burden on about 2 billion naira to make his entry to the ministry so easy. Where did he get that kind of money? You have 2 billion naira with which to give an incoming minister a soft landing. You have no such money to take care of hardworking Nigerian citizens who every day take the risk of protecting all kinds of people within Nigerian correctional facilities. This is the billion-pound question that Ali Runaba, Olubunmi Ojo, must give time and attention. Thank you. Our report for this week, special.
Thank you.
Yeah, another one that must catch the attention of the viewer is the one involving the latest adventure of the governor of Imo State, Mr. Hope Uzodinma, who a popular Nigerian family political show last night, engaged by the brilliant Nigerian news reporter Seun Okinbaloye. He was threatening all kinds of fire and brimstone. Yes, it is true that Ali
Did you
The
say?
man,
The governor of
who
Imo
is
State?
the chief whip.
Did you say the governor of Imo State?
Yes, yes. The
Uzo
governor of
Dima.
Imo State is not concerned about Uzodima. He's not
Okay.
concerned about the way businesses, expatriates are packing their bags and baggages and leaving the shores of Nigeria, relocating their businesses. You know, but in response to Ali Udume, the chief whip, somebody that has to be whooped into line himself concerning how Nigeria must work from this moment on. You know, the way Ali Udume has carried on as the chief whip of the Senate is to blackmail the government of the day that relocation of FAN headquarters, the relocation of operational offices of
Okay, so hold on,
CBN.
hold on, Chief. I want to make sure I put proper, because this was one of the stories we were supposed to cover this week. So I'm gonna
Yes,
pause
we
you
are
so
going
we
to
can
go
make sure
there.
we,
Yeah,
so we can, because
we are going to
I'm
go
gonna.
there. We are going to go
Okay,
there. But a
okay,
quick one. The
okay.
way up Uzodima is going, he is going to put fire on Nigeria. People are trying to protect their investment, and then you are blackmailing them and calling journalists as people. I mean, whoever criticizes the administration, you have all kinds of names for them. What kind of people do we have in government in Nigeria these days that cannot even afford some moments of self-defecation? They should weigh themselves. We are only here for a while. At some point, you will be off the stage. Why are you
They don't
making
care.
it to look as if, yes, as if being criticized is, is not in order? That is a corollary. It is it's part of the entire democratic baggage. If you are elected into office, people must whoop you into line. They must criticize you. Yes, Ali Dume is going everywhere singing the what's it called? The caliphate sing song as if the north is the only place that matters in Nigeria, and all other places, the federal unit should not have a feel of what it means to have a nation. That cannot be allowed to continue. This is part of the special that is coming from SharpEdge News TV this night.
Awesome, perfect. All right, thank you so much for that. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put that in order, right? And then the first story we're gonna touch is I want to hear more from you with regards to this Indume story. We'll be back in about 20 seconds or so. We'll be back.
Thank you.
All right, welcome back. So speaking of Ndume, this is actually the first time I will see this character. So the chief is going to teach me a lot about this story today. I know you were touching on it. I'm like, wait, I heard something, but I want to read this headline first of all, and then you tell us a little bit about what this headline is up to. I'm not sure what they're up to, but I see a headline on thecable.ng that says Ndume to Tinubu, relocation of CBN fan offices to Lagos will have political consequences. And then this report says Ali Ndume, chief whip of the Senate, says, what do they mean by that? Chief whip of the Senate says the relocation of some offices of the Central Bank of Nigeria and headquarters of the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria FAN to Lagos will have political consequences. Speaking during an interview with Channels TV on Tuesday, Ndume said political cartels are misguiding Tinubu to take the wrong decisions. What is this man? Who is this man and what is he talking about? Go ahead, Chief.
Yeah, Ali Ndume is a senator from Borno State. And he is currently in the Senate. He is the chairman of the Senate Committee on the on Armed Forces, a very sensitive portfolio for a distinguished senator like him, or an otherwise distinguished senator, or senator with an otherwise distinguished career like him. But he has a notoriety. When Boko Haram first started, I remember that he had an encounter that was almost a crossfire with the then presidential spokesman, Dr. Reuben Abati. This man is always raising hell where none exists. as that government of the day was trying to contain the Boko Haram uh, fiasco in Nigeria, Ali Dume was one of the people who used it to blackmail the government of the day. He used it to blackmail the government of Goodluck Jonathan. And look at what that thing has festered into today. It's become a crisis of international and unmanageable proportions. That is Ali Ndume for you. In this new thing, he has characterized or mischaracterized, some presidential advisors, some elements within the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's government as Lagos boys. His words. He has forgotten that whatever President Bola Tinubu was doing in relocating the operations of PAN, the Nigerian Aviation Authority, to Lagos, and the operations of certain offices of Central Bank of Nigeria, whose office at Area 11 and the Central Business Area in Abuja is congested beyond ordinary, to relocate them to Lagos, where they would have direct oversight over the. Lagos is for God's sake, everybody knows that Lagos is the business capital of Nigeria, just like New York is the business capital of America. But in a Udume's misguided reasoning, he looks at it as he has extrapolated that the movement of these agencies back to Lagos would mean an attack on the north. So it's not, how can Nigeria be fighting itself? To me, that logic in itself is against all human reasonability. Because are you saying the north is not part of Nigeria? Whatever is done in the interest of any of us, the generality of us, is it not going to benefit the north the more? And Ndume is not even looking at the arguments of people like the former emir of Kano, that is Sanusi. He's not looking at the argument that this is something that has been in the works for a long time. Sanusi, as the former CBN governor, said he contemplated doing the same thing to make sure that this the CBN has seamless supervisory roles, and the CBN is supposed to be autonomous. I do not get Ali Udume's argument in saying that Bola Tinubu's decision to move FAN's operation and that of CBN to Lagos will have political consequence. You see the way people like Ali Udume, how they reason. If elections were free and fair in Nigeria, tell me, do you think Ali Udume would be in the Senate today? He would not, probably. But because they know the way they pad their things. And this Ali Udume, I'm sure, may not have even been to his own senatorial district to gauge the opinion and what is those who elected him, what they really would want to happen in this situation. He's not able to go there because the entire place is Boko Haram country. Is in Abuja, and then is contriving and spewing out all kinds of conspiratorial theory.
Yeah.
You said?
I said hate.
He's in Abuja. He's talking. He is spewing out all kinds of. And these are people who craft laws on hate speech. What Ali Ndume has done in trying to drive the wedge between Nigerians and the different geopolitical zones constituting Nigeria almost qualifies as something for which it should be tried for hate speech. But this is Nigeria. We're talking about Nigeria. He is a big man. And for him, he has said this now. I have no idea somebody like Ali Ndume to have tried this with somebody like Obasanjo. Remember Mohammed Kontagora, the famous outline publisher from Kaduna, when he used to blackmail Obasanjo, they now brought out things to show that this one was not really speaking for the entire North, was just speaking for himself. The same thing. If you dig up stuff about Ali Ndume, you will find out that it's just self-serving. It's one of those tricks we know. Nobody can continue to play this kind of divisive politics amongst us Nigerians. We love each other. I have friends in the north. I have everywhere, and I love my friends. I know my friends probably love me too. So for Ali Ndume to be playing up a one-up trick, to think that people like him can set Nigeria on fire, I think is misguided and very, very unbecoming of a senator like him. To say the least, I would say I find it utterly irresponsible of a statesman like him to have uttered such words.
No.
After all, Mr. President should be allowed to exercise his prerogative as the one in charge. But if he does that line too, we will call him. But Ndume, as the chief whip of the Nigerian Senate, should be warped back to line. He needs to imbibe certain ethics and ethos, certain character about party discipline. When as a party bigwig like that, the party in government has taken a decision that would, in the overall interest, benefit the country. One qualifies that Tinubu may have done so many things wrong. We do not excuse any of those things. But in this case, this looks like a decision that could benefit the entire Nigerian nation. Ali Ndume should have been more. It should have been more reasonable in
speaking of
appreciating what to build Nigeria up.
Right. Now, speaking of this particular relocation, right, I want to know your opinion about everything else. Okay. Anytime they say something is going to have political consequences, I know there's at least a 75% chance that this is another manipulative tactic, like you said,
it is,
to just rile up people for no reason. But now let's talk about everything else. Is there any, and I'm going to play a video before you answer, is there any other type of consequences? Is this even a real thing in the first place, that CBN or FAAN could be moved to Lagos State? I'm going to play a short video from Aiyedatiwa, and then we'll take it from there, okay? Hold on one second. All right, let's see what she has to say. Shout out to Aiyedatiwa.
Why am I even bothering myself? Let's talk about a more pressing matter. Move closer, my people. So the presidency wants to relocate some departments of the central bank from Abuja to Lagos State, as well as the headquarters of the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria from Abuja to Lagos State. Now, this has generated a mixed reaction, especially the CBN one. As in, hey, you have people who are excited, and then you have people who are upset. As in, the Arewa Consultative Forum, that's a social-political group in northern Nigeria, for example, kicked against it. They've been releasing statements left and right. Several senators from the northern part of the country, the Northern Senators Forum, they kicked against it. They are not moving all of CBN, by the way. They are moving some departments of CBN where the staff are already having to travel back and forth to Lagos to work. The Banking Supervision Department, the Consumer Protection Department, the Payment System Management Department, other financial institutions supervision to stay there sometimes for months before coming back to the headquarters office in Abuja. So they're spending money to send them back and forth, and when traveling by road, there's 1,533 more people in that building than they should have. That is not correct. That is dangerous. In America here, that is a crime. Over of parking space included.
All right, so I'm going to leave it at that. So it sounds like it's a matter of resources and resource allocation and optimizing processes. That's what it sounds like to me already. So is this a real thing that's actually happening? And is there any other consequences, positive or negative, that you can speak to outside of Ndume's, riling up everybody for no reason?
Well, you may not say that he's riling everybody up for no reason. Okay. His reason is to not just to eat up the polity, but to make him is not an acolyte, to feel like he is doing something. Why not really doing
nice one. So there's a reason.
That is a major reason. Right. And this is a real thing. It's going to happen in real time. And even as you and I are talking, from our checks, all the memos backing this up, and all the details have been, the T's on them have been crossed, and the I's have been dotted. So it's going to happen. But you're saying, would there be any consequence other than what would happen with the votes?
Yes.
No other thing. For me, it may qualify as a dog whistle. It may also qualify as a dog whistle for some hot-headed idiot who want to get excited about trying to make the space uncomfortable for the government of the day. Because all these guys, they have tried it in the past, and we know the name of the game. It is a fifth columnist effort to make sure that the government of the day may become unpopular, not for doing something, not for not doing anything, but for doing something that could end up benefiting the generality of our people. In this case, I hope, because I've always held the Department of State or the State Security Service, SSS, responsible, and the police. They must be on guard. If anybody is going to toy with this democracy, then such elements should be dealt with appropriately.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, what are the exact upsides?
The Senate also must be up and doing. I think by now, Odume should be removed from the chairmanship of a committee that is so sensitive and strategic like that of armed forces. This guy cannot be serving national interest. And if somebody is playing a sectional card and you want to entrust the security of an entire nation to his care, God help all of us. That is the way I feel.
Okay.
You were going to ask a question.
Yeah, so I wanted to know if you could highlight in one or two sentences the actual upsides of moving CBN or some parts of it.
I don't see any upside. Yeah, the best that can come out of this is to make sure that CBN continues, spikes up its ability to give Nigerians robust services and operations. And in the case of FAN, can you imagine that almost 4 out of every 5 flights going to Nigeria and coming out of Nigeria come through Lagos? All those things happen in Lagos. Lagos is the hub of Nigeria aviation industry and activities. So what could come out of this other than something positive? So that is what I expect will happen. So it's almost like when the headquarters of the Inland Waterways was moved to Lokoja because of the confluence of rivers Benue and Niger there, or the NDDC thing in the South area. Nigerians must learn to have specific headquarters and offices for its principal what's it called? Sub-economic operations. That is the only way to begin to embrace true federalism. It is what everybody, the restructuring people were clamoring for. Were they thinking it's something that will come out of a planet Mars? These are the stages of such kind of restructuring that will reflect Nigeria's true potentials and federalism.
Okay. All right. We're going to go ahead and move on to some other stories today. I'm sure we're going to hear more about this whole saga and every attempt, like you said, to rile up the polity or, their own personal agendas and also the agendas at their party levels. Let me ask this question quickly before I move on. Undume is in what party exactly?
APC is in he's in the government party. That's why I'm accusing him of being so indisciplined and
What about originally?
Yeah, most Nigerian politicians have been everywhere. All right. Yeah, they shop for opportunities. And in the case of Hope Unzo, Uzodinma that is using this as an excuse to, yes, he says the what's it called? The movement he represents within Nigerian politics. That is the Forum of Southeastern Governors, all 5 of them. He is the chairman. He also is the chairman of the so-called progressive governors forum, because I don't even really see what is outrightly progressive about the APC. I do not see any ideological difference between between APC PDP.
As Nigerians, sometimes we just
these are just political special vehicles for all of them. You want to grab power through PDP, it does not happen. The next thing you pack your friends
it's
and
necessary, sometimes as Nigerians, I say as Nigerians, sometimes you have to create what do they call it? You have to create committee that will create the committee. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but
you have to create the committee that will create the committee, and then another committee that will monitor the committee. You get it?
Yeah, we have seen committees. And committees in Nigeria. For example, the Committee of Friends that metamorphosed into the Unity Party of Nigeria 78-79. That was a good one. But this kind of committee, these ones do, is nothing other than to bamboozle, to grab power, and then make it look as if the political space is for them and their courts alone. So, with due apologies to serious-minded political junkies around in and outside Nigeria, elements like Hope Uzodinma should get serious at times. Yes, those organizations he leads, they are saying they are supporting the decision of President Ahmed Bola Tinubu to move the operational offices and men and women of FAN and CBN to Lagos. Good. But how about this one that is now beginning to point fingers at you and I, whoever is out there, has been paid by Shell, Chevron, Mobil, Total? What arrant nonsense. It's our country, and we must maintain opinion, reasonable opinion about how we want to be governed. You cannot tell me that the way Nigeria is unraveling, especially with the way President Bola Tinubu pushed the equivalent of the nuclear button at his swearing in, when he said subsidy is gone, and then the economy unraveled.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Something that should have been better managed. It should have been a process, but he learned the hard way how leadership is supposed to be managed, to be handled.
You have to manage all of that. The unseen, the scene.
He played to the gallery and look at the consequence. The unintended consequences for us as the people and the nation today.
Yeah, so and coming back from that is tough.
It's tough. And look at all the options they are trying. Instead of pushing for stimulus, they give palliatives. Nonsense. I do not understand the kind of people we are, honestly. But I think it may not be in our DNA.
Awesome. Do me a favor, everybody. Please hit the like, share, subscribe, and follow. We got some more story to cover on here. We'll be back in about 20 seconds. All right, welcome back. Let's talk about this Abuja story that is still going on for the past, 2 weeks or so. That I personally have been seeing some more news about kidnapping and all this craziness going on in Abuja. But I'm looking at a headline here. This headline says police kill 3 kidnappers after gun duel in Abuja. Muyiwa Adejobi, the police public relations officer, PPRO, says 3 suspected kidnappers, including the kingpin, terrorizing some parts of Abuja, have been killed. My question is like, what do you mean killed? That's already shady to me, but let me continue for a second. You're supposed to capture them alive. Anyway, Adejobi spoke on Friday during the parade of 17 suspects at the force headquarters. He said the suspected kidnappers at about 1:40 a.m. today engaged the operatives in a gun battle before they were killed. This is another significant stride towards fortifying the security landscape in the Federal Capital Territory. Is there any update on your end with regards to what's going on in Abuja? I know you mentioned something earlier on with regards to Wike during the special segment. Can you speak a little bit more to this? What's going on? This is if I go to Nigeria, right? I would expect to feel the safest in Abuja. What is going on?
Ola, let me concede that you may be right that Abuja should have been the safest place to be. Remember, in those days when people like us first arrived at Abuja, when we lived there in the mid-90s and early 2000s, the kind of peace we had, the kind of protection we enjoyed, let me call those years the years of innocence in Abuja. All that is gone now. So whether it's Muyiwa Adejobi that is talking of the military structure, for example, the chief of defense staff was addressing men and women of the military the other day and this last week, and this said, wherever anybody was found carrying military assault weapons, say like AK-47, 45, whatever, that such elements should be taken down. Yes, but what you find is that only the wrong people are often taken down. So that brings us back to the issue of Muyiwa Adejobi. Can we really seriously believe everything this man says all the time as the spokesperson of the Nigerian police? Because I've seen, yes, I have a first-hand experience of a person who had assisted the police in recovering stolen guns. Somebody who assisted them in recovering stolen guns, who brought back those stolen guns to them. I saw how this man was killed and labeled a notorious armed robbery and marijuana production or trafficking kingpin in the kingdom to which I was born in Aiyedatiwa. I'm talking of the way the police wrongly labeled the late Mr. Bejide Ajayi, a notorious, they called him a notorious armed robber, a notorious marijuana trafficker, which was not really true. What happened that day was that certain individuals, young men, had dispossessed the police of their assault rifles. And Ajayi Bejide, being the leader of the youth in Aiyedatiwa, while having his dinner and watching a Nigerian football match, was called. They appealed to him to help them to trace back the guns and recover them. He did that. He brought that back to the police, and the police wanted him to volunteer statement on, they were now roping him in. A struggle ensued. They killed him, and they labeled him. They labeled him
a notorious person killed.
Yes. And that story appeared in one of Nigeria's leading dailies then. And I had to investigate, expose what they did, and the journalist who had that audacity to put his byline on that story, I was going to drag him to court and drag him before NGG and everybody. And as I was making overtures to get the famous Nigerian lawyer, human rights lawyer, Femi Falana, to take up the matter, The police had moved in with a divisive game of giving 100,000 naira to some people in Ajayi's family, and then they were going to start labeling me a troublemaker. I had to excuse myself after I got advice from the king of our kingdom. Then I had to excuse myself from there. So following that kind of antecedent by the Nigerian police and knowing what they do all the time to Nigerian citizens who should be applauding them for putting their lives on the line to fight crimes. And the one that we recently had about one Chinaka that they labeled the kingpin of kidnapping in Abuja, which from what the man told the media was not also true. How do we believe that these people were adequately processed before being neutralized, and now they are saying they have killed? I mean, how do we even determine somebody that was not interrogated? Who determined that they were real?
Exactly. I mean, like, why are you just getting rid of people? Like, what's going on?
See, the people who are making life uncomfortable for Nigerian citizens, they are inside. You saw what the kind of havoc they bring at the church, St. Patrick Catholic Church. You see them every day kidnapping the chairman of a political party, traveling to Lagos and doing all kinds of things, and then we use all these underhand tactics against our own citizens. I hope Nigerian police will be more hesitant the way they are trigger happy. They will turn guns bought with I live in America, it will be the excuse that why am I putting my mouth? They should understand that I have business in Nigeria through which I pay taxes. And wherever my money goes, I would put my mouth. Even whether I'm paying taxes or not. As a journalist, as a Nigerian citizen, whether in the diaspora or at home, I will speak up. I don't go agree for anybody.
Yeah, if I hear anybody say that, I'll go and start a channel called Concerned Citizens. Yeah, Papa. Of course, we have to chime in on this conversation.
You know that Nigerian police are already drafting. Yeah, Nigerian police are already drafting charges about saying don't grieve for anybody. People right?
No contest, nothing. Just if you say the phrase, you're in trouble.
A police that has something serious to do, why would they mind themselves about what should qualify as free speech for their citizens? But they treat the average man as if he is in chains, and that chain will be broken because of the power of constitution and the mind the people carry.
Absolutely. Anyway, do us a favor. We're about to move on to the next story. Hit that like button, share, subscribe, and follow. And we'll be back in about 20 seconds. Great. We're going to talk about this story, church outrage. Church outrage. Members claim Lagos pastor Feyi Daniels, Bishop Feyi Daniels, was framed in rape case, and then they predict overturned conviction. In fact, there's let me just a quick overview here on a story on Punch News. Rape sentence. Church members say popular Lagos pastor framed. Conviction will be overturned. Some members of the Irene Christian Ministry Lagos on Friday expressed shock as the church founder and senior pastor Bishop Feyi Daniels was sentenced to life imprisonment by an Ikeja sexual offenses and domestic violence court for raping a church member. The members of the church located in Ikeja spoke to Saturday Punch. Now, my thing with this story, Chief, is that we have obviously the many people that are being manipulated and taken advantage and violated by people in the name of God, and we also have the people that have their own reasons why they follow a man of God. Many who claim that getting to know this person or following their ministry or their teaching has been the positive turnaround for them. Obviously, we understand the state of Nigeria for an average citizen. For some people, life is just lifing for them. They don't feel like they can make what they want out of life. So we understand, and we try our best on this show to apply empathy in all of these conversations, right? But the reality is that he has been sentenced, right? But when I'm looking at some of the reports, they also conceal the name of some of the people who accused him. But what we know about this situation is that it is Lagos against him, right? It's Lagos State against him. And he's been sentenced now since then. And my personal prediction is we're going to hear more and more stories like this. This is another TB Joshua type story. That's just what it is. But I wanted to hear your take on this. What is it? Does it make sense that this type of crime? Because this is one of the concerns of the people that I see many of the comments in the news over the past few days. Does it make sense that this kind of crime would carry a life sentence? Because many people are also claiming that this was too harsh. What do you say about this story?
Number one, let me say that I pity the faithfuls of the whatever church in Lagos, the disciples of Feyi Daniels, because I shudder at the at the possibility of tackling him a bishop or pastor at this point.
Okay.
Yes, honestly, that kind of office is an esteemed one, and it's only occupied as a matter of high level of trust. And I want to ask the question, on whose side will Jesus Christ be concerning this matter? Certainly, he will be on the side of the weak.
The victims.
The side of the weak. The victims. This, you see, what the crowd in that church do not understand is that each time they join, they form a multitude to castigate people who are victims.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
As you were getting ready to tell me that you don't think Bishop Feyi Daniel has that kind of power, and then he took it again.
But that kind of charade does not also validate this is about technology. If they have such a capability, other than if they are trying what is practical, you as a computer and engineering expert, that they can try that by way of what you call it, hacking. But I don't know if they are that sophisticated. They should be trying their hands in using that kind of capability to improve the Nigerian economy, the lot of its people, and they should not act like internet predators. It's not going to help any of them. Yeah, because whether they do that today or at any other point in time, we will still say what we have to say so that our lot as a people can be better. Yes.
That's a fact. And we're now doing the Lord's work because we're the one making the people better.
That's right. This is also our ministry. And this ministry is moving to its permanent side.
Yes,
so you can like us. You can turn on your notification button, subscribe to us, tell people about us by way of sharing. If you touch that button, you share it to like 80, 100 millions of people, you know what that translates into. Because understand that this is also something, a curse. I'm not saying a curse. This is a curse. This is a mission for somebody with a disability, but still loves is career with passion. So
Mm-hmm.
journalism for us
Yes,
is
sir.
our life.
By the grace
Journalism,
of God.
journalism is our life because Mandela would say, "The struggle is my life. Journalism is my life." Thank you.
That's awesome. So back to Bishop Feyi Daniels, who don't collect woto from the court of law. He's now collected life imprisonment. I don't know. He might be able to file, I don't know,
Yes,
some kind of
for
appeal or
anybody,
something.
yeah, for anybody trying to um, say that maybe the gravity of the sentence is too much. How do you begin to how do you begin to talk of the scar to the mind of the victim? Isn't that a lifelong struggle as well for that person? So in the physical, you see this person who is going to be thrown into the slammer, the keys thrown away. How about the imprisonment of the mind that the victims are going to suffer? And because people need to read between the lines why the judge had to come down heavy. And law is law. And in Lagos State, anybody may want to try all kinds of stuff elsewhere. In Lagos State, maybe a place like Ekiti State, don't even try to do that. And I hope Governor Aiyedatiwa, as a lawyer, would also try to give some vent to this kind of law, this kind of this kind of law that comes against sexual predators in places like Ondo State as well, because everybody's got to secure his or her niche, our place in history, in governance. So this is not too harsh. Now we are dealing with this because this guy is still here. So let him face the music. TB Joshua is dead. People
Right.
are also saying, why must you talk about the dead? Now you are talking about the living. The living getting.
And you're still complaining.
So what is that thing? It's almost like what Jesus said in the Bible. Children are playing. What is that thing that is going to please the people of this generation, people of Nigeria? You don't come against crime. You treat crimes with kid gloves. People say, "Oh, you are not doing enough." You go as far as going after criminals. People are saying, "Oh no, that is too harsh." So, what the people, maybe they should hold a referendum on what they want. Is it a society that is characterized by laissez-faire, do nothing situation, or where laws really mean laws and they are enforced? Lagos State has said they have zero tolerance for this. Let everybody keep away. Should we wait again until another incident happens on public transportation, buses, somebody getting raped and killed by depraved individuals? No. And this serves as a lesson to some of us too, who may be struggling with some of these habits. Let us come clean. Nobody is God. Nobody is God. We have our low moments in life. But as a man, can you be bold enough to ask a lady out? And when the lady says no,
Leave
you
it
stop
alone.
it there.
No
Even
means
if you're
no.
already yes, no means no. Even if it's your wife, if she's saying, "Look, I'm not disposed to this. Can you please stop?" Even if you have that your thing already dangling, if you're thinking with that thing instead of using your brain, can you apply brakes? This is what this is about. It's not us crucifying Jesus Christ all over again because of the way we lack empathy for victims of all kinds of violent crimes. And
This
that
is what
is
they
why
think, oh.
you say what?
This is what they think. They think it's about crucifying Jesus all over again.
Who is the Jesus here? The Jesus is the poor. In this case, is they are those weak ladies that
The
are
vulnerable, the
yeah.
victims.
But let us even say that this is about political persecution, like they want us to believe. When this man stepped, when he mounted the pulpit and started shunning out fake information, trafficking in fake stuff, cooking it up,
Predicting
prediction
the outcome of election.
it's all same of one of the same thing. They dish it out to the gullible, and then people lap to those things as if it's the gospel truth. Meanwhile, the truth of God's whatever is already in His word, and it is settled. No new revelation coming. And
Nothing.
what people package as what's it called, as prophecies and predictions, are nothing other than just trying to take them for you. That kind of a roller coaster thing.
Yeah.
You have a user, they want to key into that, and then they take you for a ride. They give you all kinds of false prophecies. They are the ones whose vehicle can run without petrol. Something that is not scientifically possible. By way of, you are an engineer.
If you can replicate it for the masses,
right,
it's useless. It has no value.
That is it.
And you should be prosecuted for it, and you should be sent to jail for it.
So if this guy gave a prediction that the president will not be sworn in, there will be a coup, and who was he working for? Was he trying to stoke the same thing like
for himself?
The same thing Alu Dume is trying to do up north. So people should be reasonable. We all cannot think alike. If you think it's facing persecution, those ladies who were so violated would also tell you that, okay, you are not even prosecuting us now after the crime this guy had perpetrated against us. You are also persecuting us. You are crucifying us.
It's like you are twisting it after you stab them.
Yes, and he tried crucifying all of us with the baloney is churned out, saying there will be coup, there will be this, there won't be swearing in and all that. That was not good for our mental health as well. It affected the generality of us as the people. So people should learn to think straight. And all these ones that are hooked on a cultic obsession, which they call a church membership, God bless their soul. I hope they find some liberation.
Hey. Anyway, there you have it. Hit that like button, share, subscribe, and follow. We do have some more stories to cover, and we'll be back in about 20 seconds. All right, let's talk about SAN Femi Falana versus the I think it's Polaris Bank. I'm going to read the headlines for you, and we'll take it from there. Falana withdraws suit challenging Polaris Bank sale. The Federal High Court in Lagos on Wednesday dismissed a suit filed by human rights lawyer Femi Falana SAN challenging the sale of Polaris Bank. Justice Louis Alagua dismissed the suit following an application filed by Falana, who was the plaintiff in the matter, seeking to discontinue the suit. Falana had filed a suit marked HCICS 87C23 against the Central Bank of Nigeria and Polaris Bank Nigeria Limited. In his originating summons, he asked the court to determine whether, by the provision of Section 42(2) of the Banks and Other Financial Institutions Act 2020 and Public Procurement Act 2007, the CBN could validly sell Polaris Bank for 50 billion naira, having earlier revitalized same for 1.3 trillion naira. Otiyemi. Do you want me to stop?
What I respected man of law, our legal luminary, Femi Falana, senior advocate of Nigeria, is doing is nothing other than to make sure that Nigeria saves itself from individuals,
from self-destruction.
This is it. I mean, look at the imbalance there. Can you call this a fair transaction? I mean,
no, it's not. It looks like it's arm's length. Let's just print out some money and keep it into our pocket and call it something else. Basically, that's what it sounds like.
This is an, in every conceivable way, a transaction you will not call equitable. Look at how much. So we have just thrown away over 1.1 over
1.3 trillion
naira right there.
Yeah. No, they were just nice.
Right there.
Chief. They were just being nice to the. They look at the orphanage that they sold it to and say, you are such. You guys are beautiful and you deserve. Let me sell it to you for banjo.
Let's imagine the Treasury Department in the U.S. after the Obama bailout of those banks. When Obama came in, having to sell it off like that. The government is there for that Christmas. This thing that Nigerians do, Nigerian leaders do, left, right, and center. You say you have refurbished. You have done turnaround maintenance on NNPCL, refineries belonging to NNPCL, and then you want to sell it for pittance. This is I'm sure. Let us be on the watch out. The media must maintain eternal vigilance about transactions like this. I'm sure as NNPCL is now so eager, to sell off those refineries after they must have finished refurbishing them. This is the same kind of thing that may play out. Look at the underpricing of so many public legacy investments in Nigeria in the past. Is it NEPA? Is it NITEL? They were sold for pittance. I think that is what Shifemi Falana was trying to guard against. Quite familiar. You know, he's a man we all love. He's a champion, but sometimes too, he kisses up to people in authority, and then we begin to ask questions. But we understand.
So Chief, speaking of kissing up to people, right?
Yeah.
Let me read this part for you, okay? Falana informed the court that he was discontinuing the suit following the takeover of Polaris Bank by the federal government. At the resumed hearing of the matter on Wednesday, Falana announced on appearing for himself, while Augustine Okafor appeared for the CBN and Olabisi Makanjuola for Polaris Bank. According to him, the federal government, having found that the sale of the bank was illegal, had decided to take over the bank. Okay, now, that is also still some form of transaction in my idea.
Oh, yeah. You cannot call that kissing up to the behind of the government in this situation. You're saying that, it's just that I'm saying, when I describe him as somebody who kisses up to them at times, because he sometimes is suspected of being too soft on APC. APC actors at times because of maybe his political leaning or sympathies. But that is not to say that I'm not describing this is our big brother.
This particular, right? I got you.
Yes, I'm not describing him as a sellout. Not at all. What I'm just saying is that he picks his fights. In this case, the fight is no longer there.
It's no longer there.
They took the wind off his sail when they said, "Oh, this is a laughable, ludicrous, absurd, and irresponsible transaction that they would not continue with." So he decided to just dry his gun and pack it up. And the headline could be misleading. They said the court dismissed, but the man withdrew. He withdrew. It's not as if they dismissed the case just like that.
That's a good point.
The court decided to stand the matter down. Simple. Right. Yeah, that is what happened. And then, sensational headlines. And then when people in the traditional media print electronic, what have you. When they say, oh, the new media must be censored, it is those of us who use the tool, the platform of internet to practice our trade as journalists that must be
Uh-huh.
censored and all that. Now, as an editor-in-chief, I'm calling out that title, that headline. That yeah, it's not a true. It is too sensational. It
Yeah, but
tries to.
in this clickbait world, you have to do what you have to do to get the attention,
Yeah, but
in order
shout
to
out to
deliver the
them.
message.
Shout out to them. They nail it. We are not in any way antagonistic of anybody,
Yeah,
particularly our colleagues. They are doing a great job.
yeah. All right, do
And
me a
kudos
favor,
to the
hit that like.
Thank you.
Yes, shout out to Baba Falano,
That's right.
whose wife I found out the wife is a reverend. To us, everybody's a reverend in Nigeria. But anyway, that's a topic for another day.
Uh,
Hit that like button, share, subscribe, and follow. We'll be back in about 20 seconds. All right. Supreme Court verdict. Farouk Lawan's $3 million bribery conviction upheld. Faces 5-year jail term. And I'm going to read this report on thecable.ng. It says the Supreme Court has affirmed the conviction of Farouk Lawan, a former member of the House of Representatives, over the $3 million bribery charge preferred against him by the federal government, delivering judgment on Friday. A 5-member panel of the Apex Court unanimously dismissed the appeal filed by Lawan and upheld the verdict of the Court of Appeal. Lawan was the chairman of the House of Representatives ad hoc committee probing the multi-billion naira petrol subsidy fraud in 2012. He was convicted and sentenced to prison in 2021 for accepting a $500,000 bribe from Femi Otedola, then chairman of Xenon Petrol and Gas Limited, in what was a sting operation from the businessman. Video footage had made the rounds of social media at the time of Lawan stuffing wads of currency notes in his outfit and underneath his cap. The trial, Lawan was accused of demanding $3 million from Femi Otedola to remove Xenon Petroleum and Gas Limited from the list of oil companies allegedly involved in the petrol subsidy fraud in 2012. Anyway, so this story right here, I wanted to really get your take on it. I'm not sure if you had the time to look at it.
Oh, yes. I looked at it and I monitored it, and Egbonfemi Otedola, they give it to him. Anyway, are linked to him through a mutual acquaintance. You will understand the
No. Tell me, what are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. Can you tell me?
No, Egbon, we don't want us to mention his name on air. You know who I'm talking of.
I see what you mean.
Yeah,
you're talking about somebody else that may be linked to Otedola.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is that this man has established a reputation for embracing the best standards when it comes to doing business. He does it with integrity, finesse, and
now to be clear, you're talking about Femi Otedola.
Yes,
okay.
And I'm telling you that it's somebody we have known, and we are not giving him any. I mean, it's just like any Nigerian businessman. There may be some dark side that we do not know, but as far as we know, the way we have monitored him over the years, and we have done this about Femi Otedola for more than 15 years, and we know that he has a knack for integrity in business, and we give that to him. So Farouk Lawal, Minitive, as used, I was thinking that he would be smart to climb on the sycamore tree like Zacchaeus of old, so that salvage. He could be saved, but he did not embrace that option. You know, he did not embrace that option, and this, I mean, perfectly at put is the intent and the purposes behind some of the oversights of the Nigerian National Assembly, Nigerian lawmakers at all levels, local governments, state, federal. This is some hard scrutiny on all of them. When they say they are holding public hearings, is it that they want to make the society better, or they just want to cream the society off? This in this case, this is what Lawan Farouk did. Do we today call him Lawan Fadola, or it still remains Lawan Farouk? But it's come to the end of the road. For once, this is a case in which money power has been put to shame. This is a case in which influence peddling was able to meet an effective check. The Supreme Court that had all eyes on it concerning election petitions has found some measure, some moment of partial redemption with this case that I mean has finally come to lay all speculations as to the guilt of the disgraced federal lawmaker. Yes, we cannot call him disgraced. Federal lawmaker Farouk Lawal. You know, he probably still has some money stuck elsewhere, but I would think that this is one matter that should have enabled the Nigerian authorities to take off whatever gains, because this doesn't just happen. That must have been a way of life for him. It must have been a way of life for him and all other lawmakers. Also, you and I, journalists, we should be on the lookout when distinct operations come for us. Are we going to be able to escape that kind of embarrassing situation? Are we going to be able to stand upright? Because everybody is focusing on lawmakers. You know, journalists who can be corrupt. There are some of us out there that, yes, that have that notoriety. They won't push that story until they are settled. And they will take down stories because they are settled. Life ought not to be like that. We continue that way, we're just going to make everywhere.
Now, let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Why would Mr. Femi Otedola, who just made it back to the Forbes list again, by the way, why would he not be implicated in this kind of situation? Can you break that down for me?
Did you hear what they called it? Sting operation. He went there deliberately to put that man to test and to expose him. That this is not about national interest. It's not the interest of the nation. This could be driven by something other than an agenda to make the space better, or to stop the national disgrace called fuel subsidy, the organized theft. Yes.
People like me have to read that closely, you know, because these days people run with headlines.
Yes, on the face of it, I was also going to say that, if the receiver was guilty, how about the giver?
The giver
is guilty. So what are you going to do to the person who offered the money? But that is taken care of by the fact of the nature and the purpose, the intentions behind the whole thing. It was a sting thing. Let us, Otedola may be setting out to say, if this is genuinely in the interest of Nigerians, we are all for it. Let us attend. Let us make sure we cooperate. And then we want to be extricated of this debacle called fuel subsidy scandal. But we
does this mean
does
this mean we have hope in Nigeria? Is Nigeria going to have a brighter day where these kind of people are taken down?
Yes, vistas of hope. Vistas of hope still exist in Nigerians and in Nigeria, not everybody, see, not everybody in Nigeria, like they say, I don't want to give this a proverb that will set me on, what's it called, a tribal war. But they said, amongst a clan, somebody went bald, and then they continue to everybody in that clan has been bald-headed. You know, the people in Akure, they know what I'm saying. There's a way we say it in Akure, but I'm not gonna go there. You know,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
So what
Don't
I'm
worry,
saying,
we'll let you go on that.
yeah. So yeah, but what I'm saying is that just because a considerable number of us Nigerians are a huge mess in terms of corruption and fraud, it does not mean that all of us are corrupt and fraudulent. That's what I'm saying.
I see.
There are still exceptions.
Awesome. And there's always exception to every rule. So that's awesome. Do me a favor, hit that like button, share, subscribe, and follow the platform. We're not gonna stop. Okay, so please hit that like button, share, subscribe, and follow so you can help us spread the word. We'll be back in 20 seconds. Welcome back. You're watching Sharp Edge News TV. We're talking about Aiyedatiwa's bold move, battle lines drawn, cabinet dissolved, in ongoing political saga. The I Chief has some things to share with us on this one, but let me just read a quick short excerpt from this article on This Day Live. It says, Wahala is when someone has labored to enter a position of prestige and rest only to find thorns planted on his seat. Wahala is exactly what Ondo State Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa is facing at present. Despite looking like he has the upper hand against the detractors, the former deputy governor may just fold under the pressure of one of these days. Governor Aiyedatiwa has launched a new move against those perceived to be against him and his new position. So you have a lot that you want to share with us on this headline story today. Over the past few days, the first thing I heard is like, wait, if I had the cabinet, why, what happened? But I was like, you know what? Let me drink water. I'll find out during the weekend. So talk to us, Chief.
I sympathize with the reporter that filed this copy that you have just reviewed. Honestly, I do not know why anybody would think that he is out to score. I mean, that he's being vengeful, he's trying to even scores with the people who made things difficult for him when he was supposed to assume office in acting capacity back then when the late Governor Oluwarotimi Oduayo-Akeredolu was indisposed. Somebody is settling down to governance, and then people are beginning to give all kinds of interpretations and misinterpretations. That is rather unfortunate. The deal is that if this man were to be on a vengeful spray, like they want us, like they want you and I to believe, he will not even pick the respected former deputy clerk of the National Assembly, Adelami. He would not have picked him because he would move completely away from Ondo North Senatorial District, under which Owo falls. And even if he's going to pick anybody from Ondo North Senatorial District, he could go to a place like Ose or any of the Akoko, what's it called? Akoko areas to prop up his leadership. But he did not do that. He still retained that with Owo. Yes, I know Mr. Adelani very well. I know him very well. I made, his acquaintance through the Olupeme of Upeme, who happened to be his former media assistant. So, and we interfaced at some point when he was running as, when he was going to go for the gubernatorial ticket during the last election in Ondo State. He later withdrew, but he was one of the people who had put up a stoic campaign against Oluwarotimi Akeredolu, and this is somebody who supports what do you call them, the widows, old people in our area. He's done that for years. So he's not an unknown quantity like some people want us to believe. And one thing I remember about Adelami is the fact that at a point when Odunayo, people should hear this now, when Oluwarotimi Odunayo Akeredolu, who was also known as Lord Aketi. Everybody calls him Aketi, but from his university days at Ife, actually the full sobriquet that he had was Lord Aketi. Lord Aketi, not just Aketi. So yes, everybody has a
put some respect on his name.
Yes. So the deal is that Adelami was one of those who gave immense, tremendous, and huge financial backing to the ambition of Oluwarotimi Akeredolu. So to make it look like certain people who trafficked in misinformation, who deliberately, these people that people are now playing up as if they are indispensable. Yes, I'm not a politician, but in the interest, interest of the Ondo State and Nigerian public, honestly, many of these people qualify to be given the Lawan Farouk treatment. They should be arrested, tried, if found guilty, sentenced for a long time to prison. Do you know what they did? It's almost like a complete takeover, state capture. That is what they did.
It's like they held the whole thing under siege.
They held the state under siege, and they made an indisposed governor an hostage of power. Very insensitive, very ungodly, very wicked. And so now somebody is settling down to governance. Some people somewhere are beginning to think of him as being vengeful. Vengeful as how? So there should be no consequence to deliberate acts of treason and crime. Is that what they are saying? I hope the SSS would act true to the act that established it. I hope the Nigerian police would act true to their creed and rule of engagement. I hope lawyers everywhere would know that these people ought to be brought in as worthy of being prosecuted in any hallowed chamber of justice. So to make it look like, oh, Adelami has been picked as the deputy governor. Who told them that Adelami was an adversary of Oluwarotimi Akeredolu? No, they were political allies. And until Adelami decided to join the race the other time, and which he honorably withdrew from, with respect, he differed to the governor. So he is not an antagonist to Oluwarotimi Akeredolu, and they should see him as a federated consciousness of that enduring and continued respect for the late governor on the part of what's it called, Aiyedatiwa, the new governor. Now they are saying that all these people that were dropped from his cabinet should have played important role in the funeral. So they want to turn Akeredolu's funeral again to a money-making venture or what? So why should anybody be so desperate to belong in the committee? Why should anybody be so desperate? the governor knows those who would do this responsibly. So long is acting in what's it called? Is acting in agreement and harmony with Akeredolu family, and they have no objection to what. Anyway, whether they object or not, Akeredolu was the governor of the state until he died, and he is entitled to state funeral. Let nobody begin to cause confusion about this. And if any, I mean, in dismissing them, you saw the treatment with that was visited on the former attorney general, the immediate past attorney general, Charles Titiloye. We were involved with Charles Titiloye in the matter. I mean, let me report to you, and that worries me about the environment called Nigeria. That is almost begging everybody from all over the world to come and do business with them, and then not being able to operate in integrity. I put down good money. It happened to me in Lagos. It also happened to me in Ondo State, my birthplace. I put down good money, set up, what's it called? Media operations. You know, design a trade fair pavilion was leased to me, lawfully by the appropriate government agency, the Ondo State Property Holding Company. We signed an agreement. I spent my money, my hard-earned money. To put that place.
Are you still with me?
Yes. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes, you're back.
Yes. Until these people got greedy, the governor's son, acting with all kinds of elements in that administration, they took it over. I went to court, front-loaded my application that demolition exercise, the takeover of that building, which I renovated with my money, should be stopped by the court. And the law court granted my prayers, you know, in defiance of the court ruling. Charles Titiloye made sure that the place was taken over. And I, as the only person that had a legitimate contract with Ondo State government on that building, was not even consulted. He started cherry picking and was settling people, all kinds of questionable people. He decided to settle them out of court and ignored me. Is that a person? Is that the kind of person you want to call? I mean, somebody who could not even uphold simple standard in law, in transactions involving the state government. That's the kind of person they want him to bring on board to continue to serve him. If he brings somebody like Charles Titiloye on board, people like us too would continue to question his sincerity, that he would not act differently from the past the past administration, from his predecessor. And he needs to make a clean break from that. He needs to make a clean break from that to govern the people, the state responsibly, to let the people know that this is a government that can stand up for them, to let potential investors, whether foreign or domestic, let them know that they can come and enjoy fair protection from the government in Nigeria. This is what this is about. People should know the administration they are defending and the individuals. Is it the one that called himself a commissioner for finance that was practically using all those people's money to run a campaign to become a governor? If I were in the new governor's shoes, that I would do the same thing he has done, and there won't be any loss of sleep over that. True leadership is to be there for the people. So long as acting in the overall interest of the citizens of Ondo State and in the interest of the government of that state, I don't think his decision to dissolve the cabinet, the ESCO of the state, should be questioned in an irresponsible fashion.
Great. Awesome. Now, you know we're going to keep following these stories. So please do us a solid one. Do us a solid, as we say. And hit that like button. Share, subscribe, follow. Especially the share part. If you're getting this on WhatsApp especially, please make sure you share it to at least 10 people before you leave this video. Okay? Just look yourself in the mirror and say, I will share this to 10 people and go ahead and do it for us, because we're going to be continuing the work here, and every help you put in to help us spread this word is highly appreciated. So I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you to the chief for bringing his A game as always. I mean, today it didn't seem like it, even though the devil tried it by way of.
I don't know about this.
Let's leave it. Let's leave it below.
That this devil are happening on. Well.
It's Nigeria people language, but it is what it is.
I know it's a parody from you against the way our people always love to excuse everything, even personal phrases.
It wasn't the devil. It was Bishop Feyi Daniels. He tried it twice, but we delivered.
Even the same on him. If you just go with troubles and this SharpEdge television alone.
And he should, if he was him, let's just say he should put that energy into making the life of our people better,
and stop predatory rapes of our good-looking and strong women. We must respect our women wherever, whether in Nigeria, anywhere in the world. They should be respected.
Now, we forgot something, but we're going to just end the show. When we were doing a preliminary part of this show a little bit yesterday, I think we were talking, right? You talked about the story on Amzat Oriyomi, and we watched it yesterday. I think I'll just leave it there. That is crazy.
And you don't think we should give 3 or 5 minutes for this?
You know what? Just because I'm in a good spirit, right?
Yeah.
We're gonna come back in 20 seconds, so we can do a solid 3 minutes or so on that one. All right. We'll be back in about 20 seconds. Back. So what I'm gonna do, first of all, sorry for those people that don't understand Yoruba. I'll play about 1 minute of it so you can know what we're talking about, and then I'll let you give your words on it. All right. This story is. Anyway, let me just play some of it. Let me see here. I'm gonna play a little bit of a highlight of it. Jesus Christ.
Tí mo lè sọ nípa ẹ̀. Adára níjọ yẹn ló wá sọ fún mi pé ọmọ kan wà ní orí òkè pé òun dẹ̀ fẹ́ introduce ẹ̀ sí mi. Gbogbo gbà yẹn dẹ̀ lélẹ̀ mi ò tí ì mọ̀.
N fẹ́ kẹ́ fast forward ẹ̀ torí time. Ìgbà tó introduce ẹ̀ sí ní pánkọ́ kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀ láàrin yẹn.
Ó wá lóun fẹ́ kọ́ ọmọ yẹn wá máa gbélé mi. Adára níjọ yẹn náà dẹ̀ lélẹ̀ ilé mi ló ń gbé. Ó wá lóun ó ní mọ́mí ẹ̀ ti kú pa. Mo ní mi ò lè gbàyàn tira o pé wàhálà wà ń bẹ̀. Adára níjọ yẹn ló wá sọ fún mi because gbogbo gbà yẹn náà àwọn torí ó ní church kan tí mo lọ táwọn yẹn ti pè mí pé bọ̀bọ̀ ìgé ni kì í ṣe wọ o mi ò sọ pé ìwọ o Adára níjọ yẹn pé gé ni even ìgbà tí mo lọ church kan níjẹ̀bú wọn ṣá sọ mo wá pè yẹn wọn á ní wá
òun kò ya church Christian
báyìí tán sọ ìṣe lóòótọ́ ni wọn á ní pé kí ni mo ní àwọn èèyàn tí ń pè mí o pé o máa ń bá àwọn ọkùnrin pé wàá máa close mọ́ wọn ló wá ní pé lóòótọ́ ni.
All right, Chief.
Yeah.
What is going on here? Maybe you could do a little translation, and then what?
Well, the individual that was being interviewed by Mr. Amzat Oriyomi there was talking of a particular faithful known as Mr. Adára níjọ. We don't need to translate that name.
No, we don't.
Yeah, Mr. Adára níjọ. On there's a cloud of suspicion hanging over him that he is into an alternative lifestyle of, concerning his sexual orientation. And having checked around with people, the Aiyedatiwa now confirmed for this man on this show with Mr. Oriyomi Hamzat that yes, he indeed was into gay lifestyle. And that is where it starts. But beyond that is what I want to say about this. Let me give it to Mr. Hamzat Oriyomi. He does not know me, but I know him by reputation from the iconic matters he has handled as a kind of ombudsman. The show, he is fast evolving as a quintessential Nigerian media personality. He goes where no one has ever
wanted to go.
Yes. Give it to him. He has that spirit. And he is somebody that is thriving because of daring to do what no one else want to do in that Nigerian environment. And the people are forming a solid defense bastion for him, even when people in authority are so uncomfortable with his kind of media practice, with his kind of.
But why is that? Why is that? If you don't mind speaking to that.
Yeah, I will speak to that because a lot of people in Nigeria public space, a lot of our leaders, they are struggling with one form of depravity or the other. And wherever you see people behave like Lai Mohammed was behaving, always willing to call out journalists and describe every honest journalistic initiative report as fake news, as if he was the originator of that word, which
Trump.
Yes, which he probably copied. He rank zeros it from Donald Trump. Yeah, in the name of it, he went to town taking billions from the coffers of the government of Nigeria, taxpayers' money, to run all kinds of questionable workshops and what have you on fake news. Something that was a blatant attempt by Donald Trump to undermine the media, to destroy the credibility of the media, not just in America. Whenever Trump was caught in one crime or the other, he was red flagged. He would try to rubbish the media, rub it on our faces. And that was what Lai Mohammed ran to town with. So, coming back to why so many people can be so uncomfortable with Mr. Hamzat Oriyomi, you will understand that Mr. Hamzat Oriyomi has been a strong conscience for the common person in Nigeria, for the Nigerian people, in a season where you find so many otherwise strong individuals flagging and fidgeting and failing and falling. Hamzat Oriyomi, look at the way he handled the case of that Mr. Adegoke that was killed. In very worrisome and gruesome circumstances at the so-called Eaton Hotel at Ile-Ife. Look at that. I knew somebody who was the vice chancellor of Oduduwa University who said he resigned from the leadership of that university that was owned by that so-called Adedoyi. I don't know if I call him a prince because everybody can just go by all kinds of description and title. That Adedoyi was not showing respect, was always chaotic in his character, while the man was the vice chancellor of that university. The man left, and years later, when Adedoyi was caught in this, what's it called? In this quagmire of a murder, the thing flagged my mind, and I called that man to congratulate him for leaving before the day of, before the dawn of Adedoyi's shame. So, Hamzat Oriyomi stood up to that man and continuing this kind of culture, continuing the same trail. You saw what Hamzat Oriyomi has done. He has followed the fact of this pastor who is not only who is not known to be an homosexual now. He also is a pedophilia.
It's a pedophilia, yeah.
A pedophilia. In America, that will hand him almost, and I mean, will hand him endless years in prison. And this is something that will compare with what Daniels, the so-called
Bishop Faye Daniels.
Yes, Faye Daniels. This will compare with what he has done. But in this case, to take and prey on a little boy, the way this pastor has done. And what that is showing is that Nigerians are in denial as to the fact of people with alternate lifestyles.
Yes, Nigerians are definitely in denial.
They close their eyes to the open practice of Dan Dauda.
They pretend it doesn't exist.
What are they telling me? I mean, Dan Dauda, that is known everywhere up north in Abuja. You see very rich northern alhaji looking for little boys that they would sodomize. And then these are the people who occupy the National Assembly and they make all kinds of laws. Yes, as a high chief, a traditional chief, I look at that kind of thing as a major onslaught on our identity as Africans. But should we close our eyes to the fact that it exists amongst us?
That this is just the reality.
It's the reality. Long ago, when I was in high school, I heard of girls-only schools where they did all kinds of stuff with a candlestick and what have you.
Jesus.
Oh, yes. Yes. I had a girlfriend in those days who told me that the famous school that she attended in Akure, she had a girl who was her boyfriend. She told me.
In their mind, they'll be like, at least she said she was her boyfriend.
No, all I don't say is, by the time you are doing that your age, it's almost like falling into the trap of this.
It's exactly what it is.
Yes, if the mind can imagine some things, you already know that it is happening somewhere. That it's just that you don't know. So there was this time I ran into this CNN reporter, a very famous one, while attending IMF World Bank meetings in Washington, D.C. And I meant to greet him. You know, he picked on me. Would you have greeted me like that? If I were in Nigeria, knowing that that he was homosexual, that is it?
He's suggesting that Nigerians are homophobic anyway.
He was making all kinds of crazy laws, and he was taking that on me, and I just looked at him, I ignored him. I said, you know what?
That's also ignorance.
Yes, I said, you know what? You Westerners, people from Western nations, you always love to win in every argument. The shame of this is that if this had been smuggled into the Bible, but that mistake was there, you know what Yorubas call that? Asumbagbe. If they are smuggled it into the Bible that it was approved of God, you would see them ramming it down the throat of Africans. All kinds of things would have happened in our culture. What the power of religion, what it can be used to do, to twist the mind of people. So I told that man, you people want to win in this argument, but this is the same you that would look down on Africans or people from Nigeria for sometimes endorsing polygamy. But now you are bringing this your own standard, homosexuality, lesbianism, transgender, and what have you. They are saying no, it is against their way.
It's just not what they do.
So why would you now take that person out with me? But by the way, I'm not homophobic. Yes, I am straight, but what is my business with what two others want to do with themselves? It's none of my business. You know the one that concerns me? When you take that 1 billion naira that you serve to feed or take care of more than 1 million of us, and then you convert it and you use it, or you foist mental ill health on all of us. That concerns me. I will speak out against that. As to this pastor, he should stop being in denial. Hamzat Oriyomi, as we know him, he doesn't play around. He's a very serious-minded professional.
I see.
This is another scoop from him. He has scored this one and he has nailed it so firmly. God bless him.
Now, question for you before we leave. Yes. Does Hamzat Oriyomi remind you of a Kola Olawuyi?
Oh, yes, but they have different orientation. You know, Kola Kola Alawi was into mysticism. He called it Iririaye,
Nkombe.
Inkombe, things like that. Yes, the Iririaye series, Inkombe. So that's this
So
guy.
did
But
Kola Olawi go into more spiritual, diabolic
no,
stuff?
he wasn't diabolical, but it was more spiritual. It was more
Okay.
spiritual. And on the face of it too, this is one show that would have attracted Kola Alawi's attention. But in the case of Amzat Oriyomi, he goes for real-time reality stuff.
Real time. Gotcha.
Yeah, things that you would not think would happen or are happening. He brings them out and let us know the way we are as human
As
beings.
people.
That we are capable of all kinds of
All types of.
reprobatory conduct.
Yeah.
Reprobate conduct. All kinds of what do you call it? Yes, that as human beings, you don't know the construct. I think you can't find the construct of what is on our heart, on our faces. So we give that to him. That's it.
Wow. Awesome. Awesome. This was a jam-packed week. So we're looking forward to see all of your reactions this week. We're looking forward to see how you respond. Do us a favor to leave some comments. Let us know what your opinions are in the comment area. Shout out to Facebook, shout out to YouTube. And what I'm hearing also is that we're now present on TikTok as well. So you can find Sharp Edge News TV on TikTok and follow. So you can see everything else that we're up to around social media, the internet, in addressing some of these real life issues. So I want to say thank you and I appreciate all of you for coming by, and hopefully you've been enlightened and educated, and then we'll see you next week on Sharp Edge News TV. Cheers.
Thank you.